What's going on, man? We back with another video, dog. Before we do or say anything else, all praise to the Most High as always. Today we have what dying on every planet would be like. If y'all could have a planet to yourself that you could live on without a problem, what planet would you choose? Me personally, I think I'm gonna choose Venus. Yeah, I think I'm gonna choose Venus. I don't know why, I just like Venus. Let's get right into it.
Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, but if you think that means it's hot all the time, you're wrong. At night, temperatures can plummet to an icy minus 180 degrees Celsius. During the day, however, they can skyrocket to 430 degrees Celsius. This extreme imbalance happens because Mercury doesn't have a proper atmosphere to regulate temperature. Instead, it has a very thin exosphere, which doesn't maintain heat. While apart from temperature, you wouldn't have to worry about weather on Mercury, the real dangers come from solar radiation and the lack of breathable air. In fact, Mercury gets almost 7 times the solar irradiance that Earth receives. As the smallest planet in the solar system, Mercury is full of craters, cliffs, and bumpy terrain, making it a pretty tough place to land as well. The low air resistance doesn't help either. It would make slowing down a spaceship much harder, increasing the chances of a high-speed crash. Landing during the daytime is out of the question because of the extreme heat. The latest NASA spacesuits can only handle up to 121 degrees Celsius, nowhere near Mercury's daytime temperatures of 430 degrees Celsius. Plus, keep in mind that Mercury's day lasts about half a year due to its slow rotation. Nighttime isn't much better. Temperatures of minus 180 degrees Celsius far exceed NASA suit's lower limit of minus 157 degrees Celsius, so you'd still freeze. Your best bet would be to try landing in the Terminator zone, the area between day and night where temperatures are more moderate. Even there, however, it can be risky, as temperatures can change relatively quickly. Venus. Venus is the closest planet to Earth, sitting just 40 million kilometers away. This means the journey there would be relatively short, about 4 months. Its size and gravity wouldn't pose much of a problem, as they're pretty similar to Earth's.
If they was able to do it and they offered to fly y'all to another planet, to fly humans to another planet for a stay, would y'all do it? I'll do it. Shit, I want to go. What? Do you know how crazy that would be? To go to another planet, dog, that would be insane.
Real
I ain't
issue
gonna lie.
you'd face, though, would be those beautiful yellow clouds you'd see as you approached the surface. Unfortunately, they're made of sulfuric acid, a highly corrosive substance that would destroy your lungs in seconds. But let's assume you've got a spacesuit advanced enough to filter it out. As you descend to the surface, you'd notice visibility dropping drastically. The atmosphere becomes incredibly thick, made mostly of carbon dioxide, so you wouldn't be able to see much. Then there's the heat, an unbearable 450 degrees Celsius. If that wasn't enough, only about 10% of the sunlight reaches the surface, as it's blocked by the thick atmosphere, so it'd be pretty dark. On the surface, moving your arms and legs would be a serious struggle. Even though gravity is nearly the same as on Earth, the air is so dense you'd feel like you're wading through a heavy liquid. With a good pressurized suit, you might last a few seconds down there, but before long, the pressure, about 92 bars compared to Earth's 1 bar at sea level, would crush your suit. And if that didn't kill you, the sulfuric acid you'd start breathing once your suit broke definitely would. Mars. Mars is the second closest planet to Earth and the most habitable of all 8 planets. Daytime temperatures are much less extreme compared to Mercury and Venus, reaching up to a relatively comfortable 20 degrees Celsius. However, the real challenge comes at night, or in certain parts of the planet, where temperatures can drop as low as minus 153 degrees Celsius. Another big issue, similar to Mercury, is Mars's incredibly thin atmosphere. It's mostly made up of carbon dioxide, with only trace amounts of oxygen, meaning there's not that much breathable air. This thin atmosphere also results in low pressure and high levels of radiation exposure, both of which are incredibly dangerous. The average natural radiation level on Mars is 24 to 30 rads, which is about 40 to 50 times the average on Earth. On top of that, Mars experiences frequent and extremely violent dust storms, with wind speeds reaching up to 100 kilometers per hour. These storms could pose serious challenges, so any attempt at habitation would require a sustainable, airtight, and well-insulated life support system.
That's like a hurricane.
Jupiter is the biggest planet out of the 8, and it's one of the hardest planets to land on, primarily because of its extreme radiation levels. Even 300,000 kilometers away, the radiation would start penetrating your suit and you'd be done for. But since that's a boring outcome, let's assume you have a hypothetical suit that can block the radiation.
Exactly.
Jupiter's gravity is 2.4 times stronger than Earth's, meaning you'd be falling incredibly fast. As you enter the first layers of the atmosphere, you'd encounter white clouds made of frozen ammonia crystals with temperatures around minus 150 degrees Celsius. The winds here are no joke, reaching insane speeds of up to 482 kilometers per hour. If you manage to descend about 150 kilometers through these top layers, you'd reach the deepest point ever explored. This is how far NASA's Galileo probe got back in 1995. Beyond this point, things start getting darker, and both temperature and pressure increase rapidly. Just as a fun fact, the pressure near Jupiter's center is estimated to be about 100 million times Earth's atmospheric pressure. After hours of falling, you might reach Jupiter's inner layers, where you'd encounter a supercritical fluid, a state that's not quite liquid but not gas.
Since nobody's been there, how the hell do you know, bro? That be my whole thing. How do you know? How do you know? How do people know how many galaxies it is? How the hell do people know how many planets is in this galaxy? How the hell do people know? I call cap. I call all types of damn cap. That's BS. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Y'all ain't even been as far as Jupiter. Y'all ain't even landed on Venus as far as what I know. Y'all ain't even did nothing for Mars yet. We ain't even been to Mars. So you mean to tell me that somebody can't go take a vacation on Mars for $1 million? That's not a thing? You think, okay, so if the most richest people on this planet can't go chill on Mars for a week, you think I'm about to believe that y'all say is however many galaxies and this habitable planet and this many millions of fucking miles away is a real damn thing? And we can't even go chill on Mars, but y'all can find another damn my face.
Here, you'd kind of be swimming in this bizarre substance. If you continued further toward the center, you'd encounter metallic hydrogen, an extremely dense liquid that would trap you. But if you somehow managed to get...
Real quick, they can make anything up. Who gonna prove them wrong? They can make anything up to say that proves them right. What you gonna say to prove them wrong? You ain't been there either. They ain't been there either. They can just say that we got this machine and we got this technology and we got this that does this and this that, and the third and all these other words that don't nobody understand and only we know how to use it because you can't get your hands on it because this is only classified to us and this that, and the third. So we know it's that. Alright, bro.
Through that, you'd reach Jupiter's core, though we're not entirely sure if it's solid or not. The temperatures here would be about 24,000 degrees Celsius, roughly 4.5 times hotter than the sun's surface. Saturn. Saturn is the second largest planet in the solar system, with an atmosphere primarily made of hydrogen and helium. The first challenge would be avoiding a crash with one of its 146 orbiting moons. Once you manage that, you'd encounter its iconic rings, which are made of debris from old moons, ice pellets, comets, and asteroids. Let's assume you're either an incredibly skilled pilot or your spaceship is indestructible, so you don't meet your end by smashing into space junk. As you approach Saturn's equator, you'd witness an incredible spectacle of red and purple auras caused by highly energetic hydrogen in the atmosphere. However, this beauty comes with a catch. Hurricane-force winds blasting at speeds of around 1,800 kilometers per hour would make it nearly impossible to stay steady. Trying to enter from the North Pole wouldn't be any better. Up there, you'd face a massive storm so large you could fit 2 Earths inside it. This region also has ammonia clouds, similar to Jupiter's, and temperatures that can plummet to a bone-chilling minus 250 degrees Celsius. As you fall deeper through the layers of clouds, the temperatures would start to rise again, eventually reaching 0 degrees Celsius. At this point, while the cold becomes less of an issue, pressure becomes your biggest enemy. It increases to levels comparable to the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. Continuing further, the gases around you would transition into a liquid state. If you somehow survived long enough to reach the center of Saturn, you'd encounter its molten rocky core, which is about 10 times the size of Earth. Temperatures here reach a scorching 11,700 degrees Celsius, more than twice as hot as the sun's surface.
I just want to go to the core. I mean, to the surface.
Greater than Earth's. Uranus. This is where planets start getting really far from Earth, making the journey incredibly long. Uranus is one of the 2 ice giants and the only planet in the solar system that spins on its side. It also rotates faster than Earth, with a day lasting just 17 Earth hours. By the way, being an ice giant doesn't mean the planet is a solid ball of ice. Instead, it means it's primarily composed of elements heavier than hydrogen and helium. Like Saturn, you'd need to avoid crashing into its rings. Once you pass them, you'd find yourself surrounded by toxic gas, and the temperature would drop rapidly to below minus 200 degrees Celsius. This makes it the coldest planet in the solar system. If the freezing cold and poisonous atmosphere didn't get you, you'd descend through the first layer of the atmosphere. Here, things get even worse. The air becomes dense, and you'd be pelted by ice pellets. Eventually, you'd reach something truly spectacular, a rain of diamonds, driven by winds of up to 900 kilometers per hour. But once again, there's a catch. The pressure here is about 100 times greater than Earth's, which would ultimately crush you. Neptune. Neptune is the second ice giant after Uranus, and its composition is very similar. Being the farthest planet from the Sun, 30 times farther than Earth, it's incredibly dark. Like Uranus, Neptune is extremely cold in its outer layers, but the inner layers are intensely hot due to immense pressure and heat from its core. Matter of fact, its core is about 7,000 degrees Celsius, which is hotter than the Sun's surface. It also experiences the famous diamond rain, caused by high pressure breaking down methane and forming solid diamonds.
Yeah, I want my teeth to have diamonds from Neptune. You know what I'm saying? That'd be, what? Imagine that though. That's hard. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah. I got these diamonds from Neptune. You can't get these, but you can't get.
Neptune's winds are among the strongest in the solar system, reaching supersonic speeds. In many ways, it's basically a twin of Uranus, so there isn't much to add. If you like this video, subscribe for similar ones or join my Discord to suggest another.
I still call cap on all of that shit. I don't care what nobody talking about. I don't care what nobody talking about. You ain't been there. You ain't been there. You ain't go. You ain't go. You didn't go. You did not go. You didn't see it with your own eyes. I don't care, bro. I don't care what type of simulation you got. I don't care what type of telescope you got. How the hell, first of all, how the hell you see Uranus and Neptune with Mars and shit in the way? How? I call Cap, I call Kizzy, I call Bush, I call all that. I don't care what nobody talking about. At all. At all. Go spend a week on Mars and then come back here and tell me what the hell Mars like. You was chilling up there? How was the hell? Alright, tight stuff, whatnot. You got some alright. Talking about the Mars rover and all this goddamn, all this BS and all fucking. I don't give a damn. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Don't believe the buffoonery that be coming from some of these places. Yeah. If I disappear, you know why.